He lifted his glass, light flashing off his diamond cufflinks, tiny mirrors of the warning I'd ignored once before. "Let's make a toast," he announced, his grin slicing through the hum of the room. "To family, and to my sister who managed to get herself fired again. Maybe she should stick to stripping." The laughter hit harder than the whiskey I'd been nursing all evening. Then came my father's chuckle, low, amused and cutting. "At least she's talented at that," he added, and the room erupted with laughter. I didn't flinch, didn't blink. I had waited for this exact moment. When the CEO walked in and his eyes found mine, the chatter died instantly. He didn't know it yet, but tonight, he'd discover who really deserved the spotlight he'd been giving my brother. For most of my life, I'd worshipped Daniel, my brother, the family's golden child. He could charm anyone, talk his way into any deal, any heart, any lie. He even helped me land my first job at his firm, telling everyone I was brilliant but stubborn. I believed he believed in me, until I learned he was the one who'd whispered to HR that I was emotionally unstable. That's why I was fired. He wanted me gone. The reason was simple. I had created something he couldn't. An algorithm for the company's data division, the one that later earned him his big promotion. My project, my code, my career. He even convinced our father that I wasn't fit for the corporate world. "She's too emotional," Dad had said, and they'd celebrated my so-called resignation without me. But I wasn't emotional. I was observant. I was taking notes. It began with a signature, 3 letters hidden deep inside my code, RJN, my initials. Months later, while scrolling through LinkedIn, I saw a report about a new AI system Daniel had presented. His creation, and there it was, my algorithm, my code. My name buried in its sequence like a quiet confession. The heartbreak came first. Then came the calculation. I didn't confront him. I studied, waited, took a freelance job at a cybersecurity firm. I began collecting what I needed: access, evidence, silence. By the time the company announced Daniel's promotion to vice president, I had a backup of every file he'd stolen, every timestamp, every email he'd sent from my account to frame me. I even had a recording of the investor he'd been sleeping with, her voice trembling as she confessed to insider trading, a setup I'd fed him through a dummy company. All I needed was the right moment, and tonight was perfect. The party was held at the Glass House, a maze of mirrors, every reflection watching like truth itself. Daniel stood in the center, the charming host, champagne in hand, our father beside him, proud as ever. The board surrounded them, laughing like trained seals. I arrived late. Simple dress, calm face. They hadn't expected me. The family disgrace, the punchline everyone loved to retell. When Daniel spotted me, his smirk deepened. "Didn't think you'd show," he said. "I'm a fan of surprises," I replied. 5 minutes later, the CEO entered. The room shifted, posture straightened. Daniel raised his glass and launched into that cruel toast, and when the laughter died, the CEO turned toward me. "Miss Nolan," he said, extending his hand. "Glad you could join us. We've reviewed your file." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Daniel's smile faltered. "Her file?" he asked. The CEO's lips curved faintly. "That algorithm, Daniel, the one that landed us the last major contract, it's registered under your sister's patent." We traced it. "Outstanding work, Ms. Nolan." Silence. Heavy, suffocating. Daniel's face drained of color. That's impossible." I tilted my head slightly. "I thought so too, until the audit." Dad's eyes darted between us, confusion shifting into dread. "Audit? The SEC is investigating," the CEO said coolly. "We've uncovered insider trading, data theft, and intellectual property fraud, each linked directly to Daniel's accounts. Effective immediately, he's suspended pending further investigation." Gasps erupted. A glass shattered somewhere behind me. Daniel's voice cracked. "You did this." I met his eyes, calm and steady. "No, Daniel." "You did." Security entered, quiet, efficient, practiced. Daniel tried to speak again, but the CEO's voice cut through like a blade. "I suggest you call your lawyer. The board will convene in the morning." As they escorted him out, he passed the mirrors, each reflection showing a smaller, more broken version of himself. Dad started after him, but the CEO stopped him with a measured tone. "Your daughter will be taking his position on an interim basis. She built the foundation this company stands on. It's time we recognize that." Dad said nothing, just stared at me, the daughter he'd laughed at, now holding everything he once valued. I turned back to the silent crowd. No applause, no toasts, just the weight of consequence filling the air. When I stepped out of that glittering glass cage, the night air felt clean for the first time in years. Daniel's empire had been built on deceit, and I'd made sure the truth burned brighter than any spotlight he'd ever stood under. People say revenge doesn't heal. They're wrong. It doesn't just heal, it restores balance. And when he realized who had taken his place, he finally understood what I'd always been best at, winning quietly.